Today we are going to learn about rational and irrational numbers using some brownies. All right, so I'm going to try to draw a picture of each of these numbers. So the first one says 2 pans of brownies. So I'm going to shade in my 2 pans of brownies. Easy peasy. All right, then we have square root of 9 brownies. That means what number times itself is 9? That would be 3. So I'm going to shade in all 3 pans of brownies. All right, then we have 0 and 75 hundredths. 75 cents means we have 3 out of 4 quarters, or 3/4 of a dollar. So I can split this pan into 3 parts, and sorry, I'm drawing on my screen, so this isn't as precise, and I'm going to shade in 3 parts. That was pretty easy. All right, 0 and 6 repeating. That is also the same as 0.67. That is just one of the repeating decimals that we have to memorize. So 0 and 3 repeating is 1/3. And then 0 and 6 repeating, yikes, 0 and 6 repeating is 2/3. Right, I don't know why that zooms in, but if I get rid of all my scribbles, it gets fixed. So I can shade in 2 of those 3 parts of the brownies. So that was easy. All right, so now let's shade in 2/5 pans of brownies. 2/5 is the same as 4/10. So I'm going to shade in 4 of these rows here. That would be my 2/5. Also, by the way, I forgot earlier that we're supposed to say the fraction. So this one, it's just 2/5. All right, 1 to the power of 4 pans of brownies. That means 1 times 1 times 1 times 1. 1 times 1 is 1, times 1 is 1, times 1 is 1. So we're going to color in the whole pan of brownies. So we have 1 equal part, and we're going to shade in that one whole thing. So 1/1 is that fraction. -4 pans of brownies, that's exciting. All right, so we have 4 yucky pans of brownies. So they could be burnt, maybe they're vegan, maybe they fell on the floor and they're full of like dog hair or something. So we're going to shade them in, and I'm just going to put like a ugh face. All right, and the fraction for that one would be -4/1. Each one is a whole size piece, and we have -4 of them. All right, let me see if I can move my frame here to get this whole picture here. All right, so we have this silly number, yikes. We have 1/10, so that means 1 whole row. And then we have 9 hundredths, so we'd have 9 of these pieces here because this pan is cut into 100 total pieces. And then, I'm going to exit that a second and try to zoom in here. I would then have this little piece right here cut into 100 pieces. And I'd have to shade in 3 of those rows. 1, 2, 3. And then 4 little pieces. And then I'd have to take, oh yikes, it's going to keep on zooming in every single time I tap, I think. And then I'd have to take one of these squares and still chop it up into 100 equal pieces to shade in more rows and little pieces and keep on going and going and going and going and going and going. Yikes. That is a lot of work, super confusing, hot mess, don't want to do it. So this is an example of an irrational number. There's also really no way to write that as a fraction because it would just keep on going like forever and ever and ever. So irrational doesn't make sense. Can't write it as a fraction. All right, 2 more to go. All right, pi pans of brownies. Pi is 3.141592 yada yada yada. So we know we're going to have to shade in 3 pans. But then this one, that's going to be a challenge. We'd have 1 whole row. We'd have 4 of these, and then we'd have to break it up even smaller, which is too much work, too stressful, don't want to do it. This is an irrational number. So instead of writing a fraction for this one, you can just say that it's irrational. All right, and then the last one, square root of 2 pans of brownies. So what number times itself is 2? I don't know. If I use a calculator to help, I get 1.41421356, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so that would be another example of an irrational number. And we can't write that one as a fraction. So for your practice today, if you need practice, the practice is optional. You're going to do like the same type of thing, but instead you're going to have it with cookies. So you're going to try to draw 1 cookie, square root of 4 cookies, etc. All right, but if you think you're an expert, just go straight ahead to the mastery check.